So in the last 48 hours, Bitcoin has broken below some major support levels, and Bitcoin is at the moment trading at $21,500. So in this video, let's look at Bitcoin's chart to see how low Bitcoin is likely to go, and also to see what is likely to happen in the near future for Bitcoin. But before doing that, welcome to the channel. My name is Seth, and I cover the stocks and crypto market. So if you're enjoying the content, make sure to help a brother out. Hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. So at the moment, you are looking at Bitcoin's chart with the logarithmic regression curve. And if you're a long-term subscriber of this channel, then you are very familiar with this logarithmic regression curve, because last year I did use the logarithmic regression curve to predict the top of Bitcoin last year, right? I told you guys that we were in a double top formation using this logarithmic regression curve, right? And this was around last year when everybody was telling you that Bitcoin was going to break above $68,000 and even push higher towards 100K, right? And I was telling you that we were in a double top formation, right? And now it is very clear that we were in a double top formation, right? Using this logarithmic regression curve. And this logarithmic regression curve has predicted the tops and bottom for Bitcoin for a good amount of time now, right? Almost since the beginning of Bitcoin, right? So when we go back in history, we see that it predicted the top back in 2013, right? At the 2013 bull run, it predicted the top and it also predicted the bottom as well. For the 2013-2014 bull market, it predicted the top and also predicted the bottom as well, right? When we look at the 2017 bull run, it predicted the top as well, and it also predicted the bottom. When we go to the 2021 bull market, it predicted it at the top as well twice, right? And this was when I predicted the top as well, and I told you guys that this was a double top formation, right? And at the moment, we see that Bitcoin is coming down lower, right? So if we're going to use the logarithmic regression curve as a good indicator for predicting the tops and bottoms for Bitcoin, then at the moment, we see that the possible bottom will be around $9,500, right? But as we move further in time, I believe this will extend further, and we will probably catch it around $10,000 or maybe $9,500, right? But now let's look at some indicators. Let's look at the RSI and let's look at the momentum indicators as well. So when we look at the RSI, we see that the RSI is currently around 27, and Bitcoin has the weekly RSI for Bitcoin has not been this low almost in the past, right? Almost for the past history. So this is definitely a good time to start accumulating and start picking up Bitcoin. When we look at the momentum indicators, when we look at the MACD, we see that the MACD, the blue line over here, is below the signal line, right? So the MACD line is below the signal line, the orange line. And this is definitely showing that there's a lot of sell momentum at the moment for Bitcoin. People are selling a lot of Bitcoin at the moment. When we look at the squeeze momentum as well, the squeeze momentum is also confirming that a lot of Bitcoin is getting sold at the moment, right? So you might want to be dollar cost averaging at the moment for Bitcoin, but this is definitely a good time to start dollar cost averaging, right? When we look at the logarithmic regression curve, we see that this is definitely a good time to start accumulating, right? But definitely buy over time, right? Because it is possible that Bitcoin could drop another 50% and head towards $10,000. Now let's do this in another way. Let's find the bottom for Bitcoin using the mean reversion channel. So the mean reversion channel is not that precise as the logarithmic regression curve for predicting the bottoms for Bitcoin, but this comes pretty close. In the monthly time frame, we see that this comes pretty close at predicting the bottoms for Bitcoin as well. Back in 2020, March 2020, we see that the mean, so this line over here, this black line over here is the mean line, right? So we see that the mean was around $3,000 in March 2020. And we see that Bitcoin reverted back to the mean and came pretty close to hitting the mean, right? Bitcoin fell to about 3,800, and that is pretty close to the mean, which was around $3,000. So the mean reversion channel is also pretty close at predicting the bottom for Bitcoin as well. But if we're going to use the mean reversion channel in our current situation to predict the bottom for Bitcoin, then we could see that the mean is at the moment sitting around $10,701, right? And this is also pretty close to the $9,500 that we saw in the logarithmic regression curve, right? When we look at the VPVR as well, we see that the VPVR shows that the point of control is around 10,171, right? So there's a good amount of confluence between $11,000 and $9,500, right, for the bottom for Bitcoin, right? But when we take a second look at the VPVR, right, we see that there's a good amount of volume, right? We see a good amount of volume over here between $14,000 and about $7,000, right? So if Bitcoin fell, then I believe Bitcoin will see some support around $14,000, and it will probably bottom maybe around $10,000, right? So that is definitely a good price range to be looking out for, to be buying the dips, right? If Bitcoin falls to $14,000 or falls below $14,000, that is when I will go crazy and I'll be buying a lot of Bitcoin at that price levels, right? And now very soon the Feds are coming out with an announcement about the new interest rate hike. So make sure you subscribe to the channel because I'll be making a video about that. We will see how Bitcoin reacts to that announcement. But now make sure to help our brother out. Hit that like button and hit the subscribe button.